That's right, the T20 World Cup seems to have quietly slipped in right after all the noise of the Indian Premier League and Kolkata Knight Riders' resurgence. The action now shifts to the Americas. A lot of cricket fans seem to be excited at the prospect of something new and experimental, cricket in USA. New York is gearing up for the big mega event. There was a special unveiling that took place to announce the star of the World Cup, the player of the tournament. Back in the first edition, Yuvraj Singh will declare the tournament open tomorrow. The city is trying to ring in the buzz and make up for the lack of noise from everywhere else. But first, the red flags that already reared its head, and it comes from the team that is most popular and one the world will be watching very keenly, India. They started training in New York just some days back, and sources within the team have told our Network 18 Cricket Next that they are unhappy with the practice pitches on offer. The ICC, though, in response says they have received no complaints from any of the teams. But that's not all. The weather seems a little on the rainy side too. There's been some showers already around New York and a storm in Dallas that damaged the venue there. So there are quite a few worrying signs even before a ball has been bowled. But first things first, India's concerns and where does it stem from? Now, there are 3 venues in the US where the group matches are going to be held. New York, of course, Florida and Dallas. But our focus is New York. The venue in New York is the Nassau County International Cricket Ground, where India plays 3 of its 4 group matches, including the one against Pakistan, the game with the top billing. Now, why are all of India's matches in New York? Well, one, it's the biggest of the 3 stadiums. The capacity at Nassau is 34,000 compared to 20,000 seating capacity in Lauderhill, which is in Florida, and a very meager 7,500 in the Grand Prairie in Dallas. Second, of course, the syncing of the time zones. As the US has 6 different time zones, it's also about matching it to the predominant viewing audience, and that is over in the subcontinent. So India's matches are all lined up at around 8 p.m. Indian Standard Time or IST. So why is India crying foul over the pitches then? Now, New York has drop-in pitches unlike the rest of the venues. Why so? They do not have the facilities or the right kind of consistent weather and the temperatures to be able to develop, nurture and prepare the traditional pitches that are employed while playing cricket. So what's a drop-in pitch? It's a strip that is curated and made separately and just dropped onto the center, on the ground in the center. The first ever drop-in pitch was used in the 1970s during the Kerry Packer series. It was first used in Australia in 2003 for a test match. In fact, Australia are the OGs in many ways when it comes to manufacturing and preparation of drop-in pitches. The Shane Warne or Anil Kumble of leg spin bowling. No one does this best. The reason why they resorted to this is so that they could multi-purpose a stadium for different sporting disciplines. It's highly economical and makes some sense. But we are talking about a World Cup here. So ICC got 10 drop-in pitches for New York. The basic was flown in from Adelaide, Australia, and over the last many months, 10 pitches were cultivated, groomed and prepped in Florida before traveling to and being installed in New York earlier this month. They were transported across road via 20 semi-trailer trucks. 6 are being used as practice pitches and 4 in the main ground where the matches will be held. But why from Florida? The weather, of course. You need the humid, warm climes to keep the grass and soil used in the pitches in proper condition. Hence, Florida works best. This is a first for a World Cup, a modular stadium, makeshift ground and pitches. It's historic, yes, but it of course comes with its own risks. And the curator is just as nervous.
Our aim is to produce pitches that have pace and consistent bounce, on which the players can play their shots. I'm really excited, but I'm a bit anxious at the same time. There are still unknowns. This is a long process. What we do know is we've given it our best shot. We've thoroughly thought through every possible outcome and issue along the way, and we're hoping that there are going to be some good cricket pitches.
The most important part that has the biggest bearing on the way a match pans out, that is how well contested it is and how balanced it keeps the battle between ball and bat, is the pitch itself, the 22 yards. A drop-in pitch has no wear and tear, as it's not a natural creation, it's man-made in some sense, and clearly India won't be too happy with this. Their biggest match, and indeed the biggest face-off in the entire group stages, is against Pakistan. The other question is, how will it impact the outcome and the results? Drop-in pitches traditionally don't crack and are too flat and hard because they are made in steel casings. Now, we understand the need also for this because you want high-scoring matches, you want the big runs, the big sixes to attract the crowd. It is a T20 game. Now, that could lend to some predictability to many of the matches, especially ones which may seem already lopsided, at least on paper, like any of the big test playing sides versus one of the younger associate nations. With 9 associate sides, the most that any World Cup has seen so far, predictability may just make for many dull affairs. Not the best thing to see in a World Cup that is talking of bringing action that's out of the world. Let's hope the pitches don't cause a drop in fans' presence and excitement for a first ever World Cup in the Americas.
South Africa's May 29th elections.
It was the start of change in the country.
We are on the verge of history.
I am standing here at the forefront of change where voices echo the call for action. The nation grapples with an unemployment crisis. As South Africans prepare to cast their votes, the question looms, will the winds of change usher in a new era, or will the legacy of the past maintain its grip on the future?